हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो परमगुरुभ्यो श्रीमत् आनंदतीर्थ भगवत्पादाचार्योऽपि नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विश्वोदयस्थितितोलयन्नियतिप्रताय ज्ञानप्रताय विबुधासुरसौख्यदुःखसत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीतमतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुवि तत्त्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यहं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। अत ईशावास्य उपनिषदः यज्ञोपवीत उपनिषदः शान्तिपाठः। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। Namaskaram. I think last week we had covered the fourth sloka. Just to recollect the progression of the Upanishad, a brief recollection of that. First, we have seen the Isavasyam Idam Sarvam, the first sloka, which has given us a sort of ample amplitude, to get into the mode of doing our karma, because life is action, action is life. Without that, we can't do anything about it. But how perfectly we do it within the realms of our conditionalities, our knowledge, and whatever we have acquired all along, and the upasana what we have been doing. And the second sloka said very clearly, Kurvan yevehe karmani. You have got to do the karma. There is no way you can't do that. Even if you think you are not doing that, your mind will be doing that, and everyone else will also be affecting you, and you will be getting affected by that. You cannot avoid desisting from doing karma. You will have to do the karma. How properly we can do the karma, that we saw that. The mantra number 3 told us not to get weaned away from the path we have taken, to get indulged into the day-to-day activities so much that we are able to, that we forget our own self. The forgetting our own self is the forgetting the controller who has been guiding you, who is giving his grace. In fact, he has been giving us grace every minute of it. Even when we are not aware, when we are doing something, he is giving us the grace. Without he is giving us the grace, in fact, if you see the Raghavendra Swami's, the Gadya, Pratakala Gadya, he says he is waiting to help you. He is looking up to you. And if you don't, go to him, he can't help. That is, you don't get into outside activities with the world. You at times get into internally, see inwards. When you look into, he is always trying to help you, give the proper perspective, give the proper ideas, and he is also trying to resolve all your issues. But when he is waiting, if you are not able to give attention to that, he is still being looking you as a child. He is looking. Sometimes he will come back. Certainly, he will help you. That is the bhava we are supposed to take it. And then we went for the fourth mantra. Fourth mantra is sort of turning point mantra. See, that fourth mantra said that the reality, the primordial power, what is his nature? He is moving and he is not moving. In fact, he is fearless. He makes you fearless. See how fear happens, because the progression of the fear in the life, it comes first is the avidya. When you have ignorance, the ignorance over a period of time sprouts into fear. The continuous if you keep the fear and in fact develop the fear, it becomes dukkha. The reason for dukkha is out of fear. The fear comes out of the ignorance, because we have not understood what exactly, because how he is trying to help us and what is his nature, how we will have to do the duty, and how our submission of all our upasana is, this Mukhya Prana is conveying it to him, and you get liberated out of your karma without any bondage. That is what the fourth mantra said. So the same thing is going to be elaborated in a different way in the fifth mantra. Before that, last time, we talked about, the karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, pranendriyas, all of them we talked about. In fact, as rightly suggested by Raghavendra, that, because what are all the devatas who are really taking care of all our these karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. We talked about koshas also, 5 koshas, which is the sheath, which is protecting us, and which he finally, when we get, when his grace comes, it comes to all the 5 koshas. That is how you are able to internalize. So the devatas, coming to the point of devatas, we talked about, because our the indriyas basically the Indra and the devatas who are with him, they are controlling, like Indra, Agni, Vayu, Varuna. They are pranendriyas. They are also giving you the sort of entire energy to you to do that. And we talked about manas. Manas, because where is the most important aspect of it is this manas, buddhi, and then ahamkara. Ahamkara is the awareness of the self. The self which is relating to the world and relating to others in the world, the jivatma. That ahankara is not arrogance, it is basically the awareness of the self. By being the awareness of the self, you submit all your upasanas, all your karmas to the Almighty through Mukhya Prana. So the manas, the devata is supposed to be Chandra. Chandra is the one, because who is controlling the manas. That's why you find, sometimes people do have sort of mental issues and all. They say, Chandra is the devata, you do whatever parihara for that. And coming to the buddhi, it is being controlled by Swaparni, because Mr. Garuda's wife is Swaparni, and Varuni is Sesha's wife, Parvati is Rudra's wife. All the 3 of them give their aspect. They are all the buddhi devatas. They give the ability to analyze your thoughts and give the grace to give you the proper guidance so that you can act on that. The ahankara is a vayu. Again, that vayu is pravaha vayu, because vayu itself, you have got different. This Mukhya Prana is a different vayu. Is almost next to Brahma in the order of Taratamya, and pravaha vayu is the one who is guiding, and Mukhya Prana's grace is also available through him. Then coming to Chitta is Brahma. Brahma is directly through Brahma, and Brahma is sons, because they are giving the entire prowess to the Chitta. Chitta is one of the very, very important aspects. We will have to, as we discussed last time, it keeps the recording of all your current experiences and your experiences in the previous birth also. Perhaps it will also have an indication as to what are all going to be your experiences in the future based on whatever you have stored. It is like a central processing unit. It's a record. It is a CD. But unless you have the internal realization, the internal upasana, you will not be able to play and know to the extent what you require to know at that point of time. Yes, sir, Raghav. Coming to this Chitta, it is a repository of all our knowledge. The repository of all our knowledge, what happens is the knowledge remains as it is. When it get used to, because unless when you do the upasana and when you do internally, when we go inside, then only the knowledge slowly gets converted into bhakti. So at a evolved stage, the difference between knowledge and bhakti is hardly anything. See, once bhakti at its purest form is as good as knowledge. See, what happens is, we all go through the scriptures. We have been told, through Vedanta only you will be able to find the way to know the God. But when you are able to find the God, it's not enough. You will have to practice it and do it. I will try to quote 2 simple examples here. Those who know about Ramanuja's lifetime, Ramanuja was well educated. He had all the Gurukula and he did all those scriptures. His own Guru didn't like him to overtake him, all those things were there. Finally, when Ramanuja he went to Kanchipuram, there was one Tirukkachi Nambigal was there. That Tirukkachi Nambigal, he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know Sanskrit, he doesn't know scriptures, he doesn't know anything and all. In the Varadaraja Perumal Devasthanam, in the Kanchipuram, he was only fully cleaning, keeping the temple and going to the sanctorium and keeping it clean, everything and all. He was doing his duty as dedicated as possible. He is a very simple person and all, but he is the only one who was able to almost converse with this primordial power, the Varadaraja. And one day when Ramanuja could realize we have done so much of scriptures, we have done all the Veda Dhyana and Vedanta, all those things, even we have written so many things, debated with so many scholars. But whereas this Tirukkachi Nambigal, he didn't have any, because he didn't have any ahankara, he has gone to the level where he is able to detach himself and get into that, and whenever there is some issue to be sorted out, he never used to ask anyone, and when he is alone, he used to talk to this Varadaraja Perumal, and he used to give him the suggestion, and it was happening. Then the Ramanuja considered Tirukkachi Nambigal to be his guru. So it is all the scholarly attainment, all the knowledge and what we have, unless it is converted into pure bhakti, it is useless. As we were seen in Rajaji when he has said, in this Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, unless the knowledge alone is useless. In fact, knowledge of no useless. In Bhajagovindam also, finally, Antakale Nahi Rakshati Tukun Karne, even the grammar and all the knowledge, will not help you. It is finally the pure bhakti. It is all ways and means to attain the pure bhakti without any detaching ourselves from our own ahankara, awareness, and submitting it. In that process, what you do, as our philosophy, we are doing the karmas, satkarmas. Satkarmas. Kurvate karmani yat pritaye sajjanaha prinayamo vasudevam devata mandala kanda mandalam. That's what Acharya said. Do that karma which is pleasing to the sajjana. Sajjana, what they will look, any service you do, any service to humanity, any service to Almighty, any service to community, society, even to the nation, that is karma. So once we have that, once we do that, that is one finally converted into bhakti. In the pure bhakti, there is no difference between you and almost, the power, the Mukhya Prana and all. You will not have any something connected to your own intellect. Even the intellect is absent there. The intellect also, it tells you when you get the thought only and trying to find out whether the thought is correct, whether you should do some action or not. But when it's getting converted into bhakti, nothing happens at all. So the bhakti marga is the only way finally you can attain the God. That is what it is said. So bhakti, pure bhakti, when we say in this context, because we'll have to refer to the very famous, that Vishnu Sahasranamam. The Vishnu Sahasranamam is importance all the acharyas have written. And it is Rig Veda, Bhashya, it is there. And apart from that, even I happened to find out, one publication of 1926, where Shankara has extolled the Vishnu Sahasranamam and the importance of it. And in fact, in those who were in Tamil Nadu, most of us know, whenever, there is 5 to 6 grahas are coming together or 4 grahas are coming together, there is some sort of a bad omen is there. The Mahaparival, the Kanchi Shankaracharya, he used to advise the entire citizens, irrespective of the caste, creed and society. He said, you always do Vishnu Sahasranama. You Parayana Vishnu Sahasranama and you keep yourself. And we have got another one, Kolaru Thiripadinam, in Tamil it is there. It is also done by one Jnana Sambandhan. He is one of the great saints and all. You do that. What it does is, it doesn't, give you, potential power and all. He makes your mental thought, it makes you to forget, all the possibilities of bad things and focuses you on to the Sattvika and, because you do your duty without much of a hassle and you try to be, because you try to listen to others. For instance, it is very, very important. For instance, you take the present circumstances. We all know COVID, we all know guidelines given and all. Assuming in our own building or neighborhood, a person is getting afflicted, the way he is being kept away, The society, what are all that? He is also like Atma, like us. What is wrong with him? We are not able to treat, forget about it, because we being, mortals, we do that and all, but that is totally unacceptable. After all, every human being, because today it can come to anyone, tomorrow it can come to anyone. Any person can be afflicted by that. But the way that family is treated, the person is being treated, almost ostracized. Is it correct? And if we do all the scriptures, if we read all other things, if it is not important as you have to be an emperor in your thought. You should not be a peevish beggar in your thought. You should be a sort of ruling the whole world with your thoughts. Assuming, there is one occasion where the entire world is given to you, there is no human being. You walk along, the Vidhan Saudha is yours, the parliament is yours, the US is yours. What you will do? You can't do anything about it. You need the fellow beings, you need the other jivas, you need the plants, you need the animals, all of them to give the Jagrati. Unless the Jagrati is not there, the Jagati is not there. So therefore the attitude what we have, the present day circumstances, even you see, you read so many WhatsApp messages and other things, how people have to go run from pillar to post, even for an ailment, which may not be COVID and they don't know and all, how they are being refused. The society what we are living in is so certainly we are not fit enough to be worthy of the scriptures what we are imbibing ourselves. We are all only in this country, we have become the pretenders. We have got all the pretensions. We say we have given the entire thing to the world, but we don't have the greatness. We have got, we have got to be a sort of, the whole universe should be under your command. If your thought is so big enough, the universe will be in your command. If you look at every other jiva, because the forthcoming slokas are going to say that is the attitude finally we have to do. But if I read scriptures and still I will behave the way currently is being obtained, what we are all reading in, all the sort of social media and other things, is it worthy of us? This is exactly, that has been, even they have said in all these cases, you will have to look at the Atma is there. And even when a dog, the street dog, it is having some problem, try to help as much as possible. You are a jiva and he is also another jiva. And he is also resident in that. That is why the next sloka will open up our eyes to a phenomenal extent. Then we will find out how this is happening. This basically I am bringing it to you. This is on day-to-day basis. We are seeing with our own eyes. We are hearing with our own ears. It is all coming in all the medias and see how the human attitude has degenerated from what we should have. Assuming if one of our close known persons or family members, someone is having, will we be able to react like that? We will have to take care of. And this particular aspect I am just bringing about, it is the order of the day. This has come about. This is not something which has been we have been seeing it. We have been doing it for a long time. This is one particular aspect we are doing. In the meanwhile, to come to the importance of Vishnu Sahasranama, it is in Bhrigu Samhita, there is one Bhrigu Shastra is there. Bhrigu is the Rishi, and there is a Samhita in the Rigveda. He has given the Bhrigu Samhita. That Bhrigu Samhita is again, comprising of so many Rishis, so many of them have contributed. It has got 36,000 slokas. And 36,000 slokas we will have to relate. When last time, when we discussed, we said we have got Ida and Pingala and Sushmana Nadi. All this Ida and Pingala have got 36,000 Nadis. That is how we write, because Satam Samaha, Jijivishay Satam Samaha, 36,000 nights and 36,000 days make the life cycle. That is how the 100 years is being constituted, comprising of. So that in 36,000 was the very important, because that sloka consists of 36,000 slokas and Vyanjana, because every couplet has two lines, 36,000 first line sloka and the second Vyanjana, that 36,000, 72,000 are there. This 36,000 in the condensed form is the Vishnu Sahasranama as they come out of the discussions between Bhishma and Yudhishthira in Mahabharata. The Vishnu Sahasranama is nothing but, this the greatest Samhita that ever has been condensed. So they say this, the Bhrigu Samhita when you do 36,000 times, you do the yajna, and that phala comes when you recite the Vishnu Sahasranama. And when you recite Vishnu Sahasranama, each Nama, all your 72,000 nodes, the nerve nodes get energized. It is one of the greatest, if you don't say anything, if you don't puja, no mantra at all, once reciting the Vishnu Sahasranama, it is good enough to carry, and it will give you the internal, if you do it, without distracting, because if you concentrate on the Vishnu Sahasranama and tell all the 1000 namas, it is almost, I think, 1035 namas and all, because some adjectives are also there, that is been taken. Some repetitions are there, the repetitions are also with the purpose. Actually, it is 1000 condensed form of Briha Samhita. Therefore, in all see, that is why in South, of course, it's now everywhere and all, in the Margasisha Masa, the recital of Vishnu Sahasranama is done in all the temples, all the matas, wherever it is there. Of course, even otherwise also they are doing it. Is specially done on the Margasisha Masa because it is the month of the Krishna, who is the favorite month of Krishna, and everything is like Tirupavai, Tiruvambavai, all those things, that is taking place in this month. It is one of the holy months. Apart from that one more sloka, just for the purpose of information, I just wanted to give. There is one Indrachi Stotram is there. Indrachi Stotram and Shiva Kavasam is there. Indrachi Stotram and Shiva Kavasam, it totally talks about, warding off all illness, all the fevers. There is a Jwara sloka is there. In fact, there is a Jwara Gayatri is there in the Shiva Kavasam, that is there and all. See, in my younger days, since we had to do that, we used to go to the nearby temple, and there we used to recite the Vishnu Sahasranamam and the Indrachi Shiva Kavasam, because it's basically Lokatshemam for everyone. But when we do Lokatshemam and we say everything and all, but only thing is, we will have to internalize and show it practically. When someone of our neighbor suffers, someone of our known person suffers, we should have the Bhagavanta's attitude. When he controls the whole world, the entire Bhaga, he is the repository of everyone's experience and Bhaga. Why can't I be? I am also a product of his. The internal controller is he only, nobody else. Therefore, we should also have that aptitude. And in fact, because in our behavior and other things, we should be as feasible and as comfortable to our neighbors, known persons, if they are afflicted, not afflicted, even otherwise and all. This bhava has to come. This is all the more required in a situation like this when the lockdown is there. And this is, of course, for all of us to internalize. So now we will go to the sloka number 5. The sloka number 5, it gives you, if you see apparently in the slokas, it is the beauty of the Samskrita, and as well as the Upanishad when they read, they have put the biggest ideas into few couplets and they have put in. For instance, any great work, for instance in Tamil we have got Tirukkural. The Tirukkural is only couplets, 1330 couplets. It covers every aspect of life. There is no aspect of life which is uncovered. That is why that the great Avvayar and others, they have said, Kadugai Tulaithu Kadalai Puhatti Kuruhattaritta Kural. In a small, this rai, because, or even in this atom, Anuvai Tulaithu, in the atom, you have brought all the 7 C's and you have put inside and you have brought it into a couplet. The Upanishad is having a same set of effect. It is totally brought out, from the internalized experience without any attachment and conditionalities. They have brought out that. We will read the 5th sloka. If you have the printouts, you can see them. Tadejati tannaijati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasyasya bhahyatah. The first 2 simple sentences, Tadejati Tannejati. He is moving and he is not moving also. It's a contradictory statement. They give it to bring a biggest concept and all. Tat, as we discussed last session also, Tat always denotes the primordial power. Sat Savituhu Arenyam. Because when we say in Gayatri also, Tat is always used when that is, because in a simple English translation they say that. It is not that primordial power. Sat Jate Tanne Jati is moving and moving. For instance, how can this concept can be internalized? How can concept can be looked into and all? And next line also saying Tad Dure Tadvantike. It is afar, it's very far. Tadvantike, he is also very close by. When they are brought out, we will have to go into little different concept. Tate jati tanne jati, when he moves, when he doesn't move and all, he doesn't move because he pervades the whole world. He doesn't have to move. Only we jivas, we are charas, we will have to move. And tanne jati, when he doesn't move, because when he is internal controller, he doesn't move. Your sort of, angas move and your indriyas move, he is not moving. He is internally, when he is there as a controller, he doesn't move. But at the same time, he is, for you it appears to be moving, because you are moving, he pervades the whole world. Taddure tadvantiki. For instance, sun, he reflects and gives his entire light to the whole world. As far as he is concerned, he is not moving, he is there. Taddure, he is at a very far distance, he is there. But his rays comes and plants are converting in the chlorophyll and they are getting it, and we also get our vitamin D, our life energy comes from there. Like animals, all of us, we are getting it. For him, he is simply been there and we don't have any control on him. He is a power unto himself. He gives the energy. I think it's like, I think 5,000 megatons of nuclear bombs exploded every minute, and that is the level of energy he gives it. The idea is, he is the supreme power, he is the bimba, and we have his pratibimba. The pratibimba, the rays will not have the same effect as the sun. We get the rays. The rays come inside and acts as a controller, and it gives you everything, and it gives you, energize you and all. It is one of the rays. He is one of the billion rays, out of so many billion rays, some small one ray, is coming to us. So our internal controller is pratibimba, and he is the bimba. The bimba, pratibimbavada is being brought about here, and same is moving and all. So we feel, when we move, because I went to Badri and, Swa Darshan. See, I think in my lifetime at least I should go to Badri once. That is what I planned. I have got it done. But he is here. He is very much here only. But for you, because of the faith, but for you say you have to do that and all, you have taken a sankalpa, good, you go there. When you go there, Badri, the entire Badri is full of a divine place. You go there and you do it. But for us, I have to go to Badri, and I have to go to Pandaripur, I have to go to Kolhapur, all those things, Udupi. When we say, because we feel, he is there only, we will have to go, because in the human sentiment, even if you ask me if it is there, why do you go there? I will still go there because, the energy concentration is there, I will also get. But the idea is, without going there every day, you say Dvadasa Sostra, and he is very much there in your own puja, is there. So, Taddure, Tadejati, Taddure, Tadnaijati, Taddure, Tadvantike. He is internal. When he is internal, that ray acts as per his own condition. But unless, your own conditions are not appropriate to take the energy from him, you are not able to convert that, his advice into his control into action. For that only we are doing Upasana. When he is residing here, why can't I take advantage? That's why Raghavendra Swami says he is always here to help you. He is looking up to you. He is like looking you like a child. And he, anytime you go to him, he WhatsApp you. Even if you say, I got I have done some mistake, and you will have to forgive me. He is there to forget and forgive and forget. But this is what we have to look into. That's what Tadantarasya Sarvasya. See, he is there, everything in the world, every nook and corner of the world, and everything inside also. Inside the animals also is there. Inside the plant also is there. Inside the sentient, insentient, all the things he is there. And apart from that, Yatad Sarvasyasya Bhahyata, even outside the universe. Tomorrow if they find another set of stars, another set of galaxy, another set of universe, he is there. It is in his scheme of things, he is there. It's all there. But for our human mind, our human interaction, I know only, if I go to Badri, I can see Badrinarayana. Badrinarayana is very much here. If I have that mental makeup, and if I have that maturity and sort of, the internal feeling, he himself will come. For instance, there is one small story in South. It is in the Shaivik stream of things. There was one Nayanar was there. One king, he was building a very big temple, like Tanjavur, he was building the very big, Rajaraja Chola has built the magnificent temple. he was building the temple and all. This Nayanar, he is a very, Nayanar is one of, the Bhaktas who follow Shaivic tradition, Shaiva Siddhanta. So he every day he used to do, he is a very poor background, in every day he used to take water and some flowers, whatever did. As Krishna says, Pushpam, Palam, if you have flowers, offer it. Palam, if you have fruits, offer it. Pushpam, Palam, Patram, if not, at least give some leaves. Even if it is not there, it's not even Tulasi leaves you don't have. If you have got some Sampangi leaves, then you give it Sampangi. If not there, at least give some water, Toyam. He accepts everything and all. He is a poor Nayanar, so he was doing a small puja there and all. But every day he used to think, Shiva, grand, the linga is there, and he was mentally building a very huge infrastructure for Shiva. And in fact, he was building so fine, he was knowing, where you have to keep, this Nandi, and where you have to give the Dwarapalaka, and where you have to give the other deities, Dakshinamurti, where it has to be there, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Vishnu, and all of them. And he has almost, in his mind, he had got an elaborate plan, as an engineer would have done a detailed thing. This king who was trying to do the Kumbhabhisheka of the temple, what he was building, and then he made all the arrangements. Of course, something was getting delayed and all. Finally, he managed. Like any other projects, when you do everything, something will fall short. And a small thing will fall short, because of that entire project will be held up and all. He did all those things, and finally he consulted all his mantris and astrologers and kulagurus. They finally gave a date, and today you do it. He made all the announcement. He said tomorrow we will do that. And he is a great bhakta also. And basically they wanted, because in those days kings didn't have their own welfare. They wanted the welfare of the kingdom, the people, as well as, there should not be any drought, there should be enough water, there should be enough harvest. That is how they were looking. But suddenly when he was, that day when he was sleeping, the Shiva came in his, this one, to look, tomorrow I can't come for your Kumbhabhishekam, because I have got some important Kumbhabhishekam to attend. I will not be able to come. Then he was wondering, what is that, because I am building so huge a temple, I don't know, in the vicinity of my knowledge of this particular part of the universe, no one else is building up the temple. How come he suddenly says he can't come? When in that dream only, when he was asking, I have got a very important this one written. What is so important? Finally he said, there is one Nayanar is there. He has built a huge temple. I will have to attend that. So you keep another date, because, and he also gave some indication which date he can. Then that king, because he got, I am building so, spending so much of money and wealth, and I am doing it. Finally he says something like that. Who is that? Then he tried to find, he was in a small hut, a Nayanar who doesn't have any sort of even small place to sit, even if a visitor comes. He was doing that. When he went and saw, he understood, and when he discussed with him, what is that, because with the really, then of course he became a real bhakta and all those things, and he gave up, all the arrogance. He didn't have any arrogance. After all, a king, he had to rule, he has got certain duties to do. He understood how it is not that God will come at your command just because you are spending so much of money and wealth and all. The examples of Tirukkachi Nambigal in Kanchipuram and this Nayanar in this Tirumurai, it gives us, it is that mental, we don't have, even if without going to Badri, you can have, Kailasha, he brought it in his mind. And the Shiva was very particular that he will attend the particular Prarodharana in his mind, than to go for that big opulous temple built by this king. This is just an example as to show how mentally, we can get into a stage when all this outwardly, because it's all because of your experience. Supposing, if you go in a small dhoti and this one, no one will listen. And unless you go in some sort of a dress and other things, they will do. Even if you want a Swamiji, you have to go in a, now you have to have retinue of people coming there. So he's coming, and some people have to come. Unless, that you have all the paraphernalia, you will not be considered as a Swamiji. A Swamiji can't just walk, like a peevish beggar in a street. He can't. But there may be so many Mahans. I know a lot of people in our own places, they are there. Very humble, because for them, the humility is not a great this one and all. They are enjoying that. The bliss is there. That is the bliss, finally we ought to have to get. That will give us an attitude. The very idea is, once you think, the ahamkara, the identity with the self, you are someone, you have got something around you, and you have got you only have got some duties to perform. Once we have it, that is it. But once you realize, assuming, I take, there are 7 billion people are there in this world. I am also one among them. If I am there, I am maybe counted in one. Tomorrow I am not there, and that is 7 billion, some other new additions will be there, they will consider. Once you have that feeling, once you come to the ordinariness, the extraordinary ordinariness, when you come, that is where, you will get the real bhakti. That bhakti, because in the sense, it's not that, everyday life, you will have to, you interact, you act. But in the internally, antaratmaya, antargana suddhi, when they say, in the sakshi, you have that bhava. So I am no different from, thousands of pilgrims, who are going there and all. Thousands of pilgrims who couldn't afford to go there. See, they couldn't go there, they are, because wherever, Manave Mantralaya, when they say yes, because you have the Swamiji, inside your the mind and do it. That's what. That bhava, that is what the highest bhava they say. It doesn't mean that immediately next we leave everything and all. We don't have to. But once we have that attitude, what will happen is we will give dignity and due respect even everyone who is an actual bhakta. The bhakta is not by the showmanship or by giving all sorts of you have to be identified with what you are doing and all. With the heart internally, once you have that bhava, you don't have to. It will be reflected. If a Mahan is coming, you see his eyes, you will come to know he is a Mahan. If I go there and show my eyes, it will only, I have got a cataract and got operated, that only I can show. But if an enlightened person comes, his eyes you see, Satyatma Tirtha or any of the Swamijis, they do it. But unfortunately, they have got, quite a bit of, because you can't approach them, because they have got a lot of, the circles around them, because they have to manage. They have to manage. Where the wealth is there, they always, these things are bound to be there. In this context, we should remember one great philosopher and a writer, French writer, Balzac, which he writes, every fortune has a crime behind it. That's what it is. But it may be crime or anything like that. Something must have happened, because when you manage that, you have to do so many things. Because you have to live in this world, you have to do that. But as far as our citizens like us, ordinary people we are like concerned, once we consider we are one among the 7 billions, and because we will try to do whatever is possible, and so because we are no different from a person in Somalia or any person in US or any person in Brazil or even in our own slums, if someone is there, all of us are equal. We do have the same. We take the same 2-time foods and we do have the same clothing to cover. That's it. This is basically it. But this also gives a greatest point of view. As we discussed in the very first session, our ability to wonder. When you see everything is, he has given his prasada, assuming I am sitting here and talking to you, I have got some computer, the mobile equipment and all, it's all his prasada. So maybe 10-20 years before, this type of equipments were not there, and subsequently it came. I was fortunate enough to have with this, and I am able to interact and also get the benefit of the interaction also. This is his prasada. For instance, if you see, these things can happen. Supposing, once what happened, I happened to be in a small place. I had gone out of for some work. It's way back in 72, 73. Then MGR was one of the biggest leader in the party. He was thrown out of the party. He was removed from the party. So then what happened, the entire, he is such a popular figure, and he was also, of course, he was doing a lot of good things. People used to take him almost like God. The entire Tamil Nadu was at a band. I was in a small place called Kovilpatti. I couldn't get even a cup of water to drink. I have gone for some work and I have held up. The only place I can go is I will have to walk about 2.5 kilometers to the railway station, and even we are down because all the rails have been stopped, buses have been stopped. No mobility, and you have gone to your place and you are not in your own place. Of course, I was a bachelor at the time. So I went there and what to do, and finally there, like me, a lot of people were there who were also waiting there. And suddenly I was wondering, okay, whatever happens to them, it will also happen to us, let us see. Sometimes there is one railway canteen. Normally it was, they say, the railway canteens were awarded to small contractors in the small places, unlike present day. And that gentleman, one Brahmin gentleman, he took pity on that. He finally arranged to make some food, and all of us got it. He also arranged for some water and other things. We got it, but we got it. It was a prasada. You see, when no one is there, when the entire, because no one can afford to do. Likewise, in our lockdown, some people are coming and delivering you vegetables and delivering you groceries, and it is prasada only, because they also have the same risk and reward as we have, and they also have the same sort of dangers, they have to encounter. Despite that, God has arranged somehow, you are getting it. That is prasada. See, everyday life, what He gives, every breath is prasada once you take it. That bhava, that life will be wonderful. For instance, why Wordsworth? He took the daffodils. Daffodils is a small flower, I think most of us must have seen. It is in the Cumberland, the Lake district of UK. It's a beautiful flower, but it doesn't come in all places. It comes only in the certain regions. And if you go and see where he sat, it is like a small stone bench where any walker can sit, in a park. It is like that. He sat there and he saw the daffodils. He got the wonder and he made a poem, which has become almost internationally so famous. As the children, we have all learnt daffodils. That is the ability to wonder. But because when you don't have that ability to wonder, and that I think maybe we still gone to that extent of wondering at a flower or even a leaf or anything like that. Maybe I think you go to Kanyakumari, you see, because on a full moon day, the sun goes down and the moon rises simultaneously around. It is a very beautiful, and it's a natural phenomenon. It happens, and it's a Cape Cameron, the end of that land. You will be able to see that. So then you get some, because you have to have the ability to wonder. But once you lose ability not to wonder what is this, this has been happening, these tourists are coming in, these fellows are making money. If you think like that, you can also see that. So we were all, myself, Prabhuda, and we were all in Calcutta. I think one of our close friends had come, and there is one botanical park is there. It is a very famous park in Howrah. And of course, there is a very beautiful Vatavrisham is there, and so many trees are there. Fantastic. And if you go there and if you have interest, I think it is a place to be in. But another person, who has come there, and he was asking the suggestion to a newcomer to Calcutta. Sir, I want to go to that. That fellow, what is there? Same, we have kept some trees in our house, and they have kept a few more trees. I think going and seeing all that. If you have that aptitude, you will not be able to wonder anything at all. You will have to be able to wonder at everything. And even small butterflies, even if a small insect come into your house, it comes and it also goes out. See, in fact, scientifically they are telling the bumblebee, if you see the bumblebee, all of us have seen. If you apply the laws of aerodynamics, it can never fly. Its wings are not like that. But then, it has got the capacity to expand and close the wings and adjust its body. It becomes mobile, it becomes airlifted. So that is what that power has been given by the Almighty only. You cannot design some bumblebee and make it airlifted. It is like this. Our ability to wonder every day makes it sort of a phenomenal. And these things come through upasana. See, the mind, what happens is, so if you take every day, you react and you go about it. See, when we have come into the world, there is no script. We have not been given a script. The whole world is a drama, let us say. We have been given a role. Every day we talk a dialogue as it comes. We have not been given a script. The dialogue comes because as your thoughts comes into your manas and the buddhi says, and finally you speak it, and sometimes you don't speak, and depending upon what's your conditionalities. It is life is going like that. But to bring it in order, see, that's why the next after the 8th sloka, we will see such a wondrous statement. We will find because how in fact most of the things are conforming to Advaita philosophy, where you will find it's such a wondrous things, how all these things have been put in place. That is something great, that has happened. So that is why the this inside, that controller, whoever is there, he continuously been operating as the same source of agent of the power from the primordial power who is giving you the energy. So once you are able to take his help, and you are very nearer to him, you are not very far from him. But if you think, because for I don't have a vitamin D, I will have to go to the ground and sit there and all. Because in your veranda, some sun will be coming, you will be there. It's like that. You are internally, when you find, you don't have, God is not helping you, God is, He is only testing you. Very often, the people are very happy to know that they have undergone a lot of trouble than anyone else. Once you celebrate your sufferings, whatever your mind is attuned to, you will only get the every thought, which is towards the suffering only. So once you see, everything as a prasada, see, you got this, you got that, and I see, even if I had an ailment, I come out of it, I take it as a prasada. Look, sometimes the doctor is only doing it. It's finally the God only saves you. Doctor treats you. God saves you. So finally it is his prasada. He gives it, and finally we are getting it as his prasada. That bhava has to continuously come. This is with regard to this particular sloka. In this, I just want to quote, because our Jaitita in his Tika for this Isavasyaupanishadam of Srimad Acharya, he says, Tado vibhoti sarvopi na vibhoti harihi swayam. Tado vibhoti sarvopi, he is a sarvavyapi. Na vibhoti harihi swayam means it is only as your own sort of choice. He is there to help you. So if you are not able to realize, it is your choice. The choice is there for you to get illumined. That is what he says, because this is again they are quoting from the Upanishad, and there's Bhashyam only. Sarvagatva saddurech brahmayantancha samipaha. Because he is always samipa, he is always at a close by, he is with you, he is sleeping with you, he is walking with you. When you take bath, he is with you. When you do puja, he is with you. When you are facing a problem, he is with you. Once you have that bhava, I think that, because your bliss, I think, you will not have any reason to be worried and all. In fact, that is coming in the next sloka. It will come. We will now go to mantra number 6. I think if you have got that printout, you can see that. Yastu sarvani bhutani atman yattu sarvani bhutani atman yeva anupashyati. Yastu sarvani bhutani eva atman eva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijigupsate. Yastu sarvani bhutani atman eva anupashyate sarva bhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijigupsate. You see Atma in everyone, and all of us have Atma, because when I see you as an Atma, you see me an Atma. When you go a little different, and you also your family members, you see, your wife, children, and they are also Atmas. When you go a bigger, all other society, everyone is Atma. When you go still further, all the human beings, they are Atmas, and then all the animals, plants, and all other sentient beings, all of them are Atma. Once you see the self in you and all in self, then there is no question of any sort of identity crisis. You will not have any revulsion. It is not that you are happy when you look at someone. It is not that you get revulsed when you see someone else. Both doesn't happen. In fact, you are able to deal with everyone in a normal, at par, without any conditionalities. When you have that aspect, what you say, even if a person who is very wealthy, who is well off, normally what happens, we try to see, because he has done so much, he has achieved so much in the life, so we try to do it. Go and give that. You give the same dignity when a person who is coming to you for some help or advice. You will think, because this fellow is useless, he has spoiled his whole life, he didn't do anything properly. See, he has got his own karma bandhanas, he has got his own thought process. As far as you are concerned, he is an Atma. Once you are able to see everything without any differentiation between your conditionalities and his conditionalities, that is your bhaga of experience, his bhaga of experience, there you ultimately get the ignorance out. Ignorance is the root cause of bhaya. Let me tell you the biggest problem what we have in our behavior, when some people think we are little difficult to deal with, or some people think we are very comfortable to deal with, we can easily be manipulated. All these things are because of our own making. Once you have the ignorance, you remove it, you be normal and your behavior is equanimity, it is equal with everyone, then you will be equal. See, assuming, even if someone thinks he is taking advantage of me, and I know, because, okay, if he is happy, let him do. But I am going to be dealing with everyone like that, it's okay. But he may be thinking he is taking advantage of. He cannot really take advantage of. Every man is an entity, every man is a creation, every man has got that internal controller. The Atma is as good as the reflection of the rays from the sun. You are as powerful as that of a sun, when you are effulged and you are enlightened and illumined to the highest possible extent. Nothing can move. You don't have to fear. No one can take advantage of you or no one can make you subservient. Nothing. You are equal to anyone. But your own maturity and all, that vibration will come. The other person will be able to get the vibration. He will act accordingly as per the requirement. But only, once you see, even if before a person coming, if you think, something is like this. There is a very beautiful story in Reader's Digest, long before I have read. A person got stranded in a low highway. It's a very long highway, nothing for miles here, miles there, left, north and all. He got a punctured tire. He didn't know any of that. Then he thought he will try to go help. There is no one else. But then about half a kilometer there was a small house was there. He thought he will go and ask for some help. If there is someone, after all, whether the person is capable of doing help or if some child is there, some lady is there, he can't get in. So while walking, he goes on thinking, suppose, if the person says, it was a little closer to the late night and you are coming and disturbing me, I think, you don't have any sense and all. If he closes the door, what to do. Or if he is some ruffian and he, supposing, he physically attacks, what to do. Or otherwise a old lady is there and she says, because I think you guys have no sense at all. I am a old lady and sitting here, you come and disturb me, you should have thought twice about it. He makes all those thinkings. And he finally goes and taps the door. And a young, because a middle-aged lady, she opens, she said, what is that? Can I help you? And she offers some water. I said, why don't you sit down? You seem to have walked quite a distance. Why don't you sit down? Then he got taken aback. Because he was developing all these negative thoughts. And finally he said, this is the problem. She said, don't mind. And I also have driven cars. I know how to do it. My young son is there. He will also help me with this. He will come and help you and we will set it right and you can go to your place. Would you like to have some bread or something to eat? Because you must. There is nothing in this highway. Either few hundred kilometers this side or 200. That fellow got taken aback. Because mentally you create, before seeing a person, don't have any sort of premeditated, preconceived ideas while dealing with everyone. Maybe I think we might have had, in the heat of the moment, during in our younger days and all. But maybe as we come, now we don't have to deal with, we don't have any requirement also. No preconceived ideas, with an open mind. Or, you remember something, because that gentleman told about this fellow, if he comes, he will always do something, he will create some problem, he will get some information from you, don't go about it. You go with your own way and nothing will happen. That fearlessness, once you have that control and bliss in you, you cannot be touched. You are so high, you have got such a wonderful, you are emperor of thoughts and you have got such a wonderful thoughts, nothing can affect you. You will be emperor of yourself. Once you have it, you don't have to bother about it, and whatever you do will be a bliss. Everyone comes across will get the assistance. Everyone comes across to you will get the vibes. Once I developed our own children, because assuming what happens, the barrier becomes generation gap, what they say. That happens, our communication slowly comes as age grows, the slowly communication comes little lesser and lesser. Even if you want to communicate, you think twice, if I say this, that the guy will think like this or the girl will think like this. Don't do that. You be normal and I think, they will understand you, they will come to you and they will go about it. Nothing to worry about it. And this is the same thing, like Ramana Maharishi and Somerset Maugham, when they had 2.5 hours without talking, and Somerset Maugham could write a book, how great a communication he had with Ramana Maharishi, and it is an international bestseller. If that happens, that shows the power of the mind. Once you are illumined, you will be reflecting. You are effulgent. You are as good as sort of a rishi in the modern world. But once you get that slowly and all, I think you will not have any bhava, and in fact you will be very healthy. You will not be thinking whatever you will be. See, sometimes even while taking food, we do have a dilemma. Should I take it? Should I not take it? I have taken the medicine. I have forgotten to take the medicine. Or see, once you are feeling comfortable, if the mind says with the equanimity, take it as a prasada, nothing will happen. And don't desist from not because I should go. Doctor has said. Doctor has said, and you follow that. But at the same time, you go by your own judgment. Though because very often what happens if you miss something, if you're taking, that will, supposing some good dish is made, just because of your discipline, you take a little, don't take too much, taste it. That is what it happens. Did bhava comes only when it is there. See, what happens is, the taddure, tadvantike, tanne jati, all those things when they say, supposing the self and the world, we are dealing with this, it is like this. But as you slowly develop this, you come to this. You become an inverted triangle. Your difference vanishes. You got, because you come to the point, that, you exist and the other person also exists. You exist, other creatures also exist. When this exists, when this bhava comes, you don't have to fear. And once you are fearless, let me tell you, you will not have any problem of diabetes, hypertension, anything like that. Very often, in subconscious it is happening. So even though we think, we are not having it, we are claiming, I am so bold, I am so this and all. It is not so. Very often there is a lingering thoughts, some remnant of thoughts which comes about. Even without your knowledge, it creeps in. But once you develop that, even that will not creep in. Turiya one stage there. It is nothing sleep, because we also recognize that Turiya stage. When you are in deep sleep, the consciousness, fully is effulgent, because your body is, halt. They are all getting regenerated. All the cells get regenerated. But your consciousness, because it is at the brightest, because it is fully effulgent at that. Once you develop that, your own, internal problems, internal everything will vanish. So this particular, this one, it is a sort of a swakalpa, because once we set ourselves swakalpa, we set ourselves so that, our dealing with the world becomes so positive, we don't have to have any more conditionalities to be removed, and we can jolly well deal with anyone. If you are to go to US and stay for 3 months, you will not have any problem. You will not miss US, India. You will find your way to make yourself comfortable there. Because in India, I can go for a walk, here it is there and I can't. All those things will vanish. You will adjust and, your equanimity of the mind will be there. Likewise, even if you go to a small village without electricity, of course now all villages are electrified thanks to the programs. Even if you go to a small village with the facilities, AC is not there and all, you will not mind. You will date, you will find, so many things and all. So once you get that particular stage, it's to make life happy, fully bliss. And wonder at everything, because there are so many things to wonder. And if you go to some of our temples, if you spend, because one day, in some of the temples, you can see so many things which we have not seen in our lifetime. There are so many small temples in South or Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh. When you go there, then I had the occasion to go in all these places. But everywhere you find everything is a wonder. So that we have to keep that wonderment in us to continuously get into the stage of elimination. I think today, because the next sloka is going to be a sort of Nirvikalpa mantra as per for Advaitis. For us also, it's a very, very important mantra. And in fact, the Jayatirtha and Vadiraja has given a very detailed tika on that. And Srimad Acharya has given so beautifully, but he says in few lines, 4 or 5 lines, he gives the gist. He makes the rest of the things to be developed. For a people like us, who are not so initiated, it's difficult. But Jayatirtha and Vadiraja, they are Mahans. They have gone through it. They are giving us the guidance. This guideline we will see in the next program. And in the meanwhile, I think, if you have anything, you can... This way with the Shantipata. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Om Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you.